It is the moment of truth for House Speaker Mike Johnson and Republican leaders on Capitol Hill. They are working to get President Trump's legislative agenda across the finish line. Today's goal is to secure the votes to deliver that, quote, one big, beautiful bill. Those GOP holdouts, they're not making it any easy for the speaker. Take a look at your screen. He was locked in meetings all night trying to sway some of those members. And that's because a single no from one or more of the people on your screen right now could tank the bill completely. And that is assuming all Democrats vote no. Speaker Mike Johnson took to the podium moments ago and had this to say about the bill. Let's listen.
So we're planning to take up our budget resolution as early as today. Which is a major step, as you know, to unlock the process in delivering President Trump's America First legislative agenda. We're very close right now. And as you just heard the Leader Scalise, explain, there's always more work to do right up to the end for a big vote like this, and this is a big one. We're very, very close, and we're excited about the progress, and I'm very positive, and I'm absolutely convinced we're going to get this done. There's a lot of misinformation about the budget resolution. You've heard some of this being cleaned up this morning. I won't repeat it all. But this resolution itself contains no policies. It is a framework only, and it's the product of months and months of work completed with the input of over 95% of the individual members of the Republican conference. We held dozens of listening sessions. We met with nearly every member of the conference multiple times, and truly this has been a bottom-up approach to the process. So we're proud of the final product, the work product, and again, it's sort of the kickoff in what will be a four-quarter
Members of the House Progressive Caucus also sounding off. Let's listen to that.
Today we are here to say clearly, enough with the attacks on working people in order to fund billionaire tax cuts. I'll say it again. Enough with the attacks on working people in order to fund billionaire tax cuts. Enough to the cuts to programs that working people have earned through their hard work. Enough with the lying and the gaslighting. This is not about making government more efficient for working people. The Republican plan is about making government more efficient for big corporations and billionaires who are screwing us over. We don't need to cut Social Security. We can expand it. We don't need to cut people's health care. We can expand it. We can have...
All right, let's go live now to Capitol Hill and CBS News congressional reporter Taurean Small. Taurean, thank you for joining us today. Speaker Johnson is still trying to secure the votes needed to pass the bill, but the big question is he going to actually get them?
Yeah, so the numbers here that we have to watch is 218 and 215. That's respectively the Republican and Democrats makeup of the House. With that narrow majority, any loss of votes could be fatal to the fate of this massive House budget bill. We also know that, like that graphic previously showed, there are a handful of Republicans who are still on the fence, if not an outright no. Victoria Sparks, the congresswoman from Indiana, was the first to come out and say she just won't be supporting this bill because she doesn't think the spending cuts are deep enough. And we understand from this fiscal framework, as the speaker just said there, about $2 trillion in mandatory spending cuts is what they're pursuing. Although this isn't a policy as he put there, it does have instructions like directing the House Energy and Commerce Committee to see about $800 billion in cuts. Under that panel's purview is Medicaid, which is why we see Democrats up in arms about it. But again, the negotiations that we saw happen yesterday into the evening will have to continue today as they're looking to start a procedural vote around 1 p.m. Eastern time and then ultimately a floor vote around 6 p.m. Where the votes are right now is still TBD.
Okay, Taurean, so earlier we showed a list of GOP members who are leaning no or undecided on this topic. And our cameras caught up with one of them this morning, Representative Nicole Maliotakis, and this is what she had to say. Let's listen.
I'm still undecided, but I'm leaning more towards yes because I've gotten some clarity and assurances that make me feel comfortable allowing this process to move forward. In particular, my concerns were my local hospitals, my senior citizens, people with disabilities, particularly children with developmental disabilities, and making sure that they're not going to be impacted and that we're truly going to be going after the waste, fraud, and abuse.
So undecided but leaning yes. Is that a good sign here that the conversations the speaker had last night is actually working?
Well, it's certainly a good start, I would say, especially considering she's one of the moderate Republicans who had qualms about the idea of cutting Medicaid. Again, mandatory spending is in the crosshairs of Republicans, have been for a while, but I think on paper, seeing that and the response from constituents, it's why many of them have paused with just the scale of this massive budget bill. Republicans on the further right of the conference, like members of the House Freedom Caucus, are again looking for deeper spending cuts. They want to balance the budget and offset some of the more radical or loftier goals, the president's priorities, like expanding the 2017 tax cuts. In order for that to happen, they would have to find around $4.5 trillion to offset a deficit that would happen there.
Taurean, you and our team over on the Hill have been tracking town halls across the country, and we're seeing a growing number of attendance from voters who are not happy with how things are going over there. So let's watch this moment from a town hall held by Republican Congressman Mark Alford, and we'll talk to you on the other side.
I don't mind being challenged. I don't mind having a civil discussion and trying to answer questions. But that's part of how our democracy works.
Right. Obviously, people are mad, and we're mad too, and that's why we showed up.
And I think that's something that is lost in America. Real conversation, cordial conversation about things that we may agree on and things that we may disagree on.
Because I know that the Democrats have a plan to try to disrupt things in town hall meetings.
It's okay.
But that's okay. But you are welcome to leave if you would not like to be here. When will Congressman Alford stand up to Elon Musk, who is...
So as we just saw and heard there, tensions are high. So could some of this voter backlash be the reason why Republicans are saying no to this bill?
Well, we know that the White House is certainly aware of this tension that's bubbling up in these town halls among constituents of these lawmakers. Congressman Rich McCormick of Georgia, who also faced quite a bit of pushback from his constituents during a town hall last week, said that he and other members of the House will be meeting at the White House today to seek guidance on this and talk further about the pushback that some of these more bullish and aggressive actions, executive actions that's happened over the past couple of weeks has made in their respective districts. Whether or not that would be a game changer in their minds on this budget bill is to be seen. So far, though, the biggest dissent that we're seeing is whether or not the cuts go deep enough, and that's among members of the hard right flank of the conference.
All right, CBS News congressional reporter Taurean Small, thank you so much for your time today.